So today, in our Ramayan story, we're going to be talking about the war, and we're going to be hearing about how the war starts, okay? Before we go into that, we're going to learn a new Bhagavad Gita shloka. And before we get into all of that, let's start with our opening prayers, okay? Now, for all of this, if you can all please unmute yourselves so we can hear each other, that'll be great, okay? So everyone, please unmute if you can. Let's start. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य
तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः।
श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री
अद्वैताचार्य श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. Today we're going to be learning Bhagavad Gita verse, chapter 4, verse 7. It's a really, really important verse. It's one of the very, very famous verses of the Gita, and you'll see why. Let's start with the Sanskrit. Like we normally do, I'll say one word, you repeat, then we'll go with one line, you repeat, and then we'll try the whole verse, okay? Yada. Please unmute
यदा
all here. Yada
यदा
यदा
hi
हि
dharmasya
धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य
glanir
ग्लानिर्भवति
bhavati
भवति
bharata.
भारत
This is a long word. Abhyuthanam.
अभ्युत्थानम्
Adharmasya.
अधर्मस्य
अधर्मस्य
Excellent. Tadatmanam
तदात्मानं
shrijam
सृजाम्
yaham.
अदा
These two, let's try and say these two together. It might be easier. Shrijam yaham.
अहं
Good. I'm going to try one line now, and then you repeat after me, okay? Yada yada hi dharmasya.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
Very good. Yada yada hi dharmasya.
यदा
यदा
हि धर्मस्य
Gla Glanir Bharata.
ग्लानिर्भवति
ग्लानिर्भवति
भारत
Glanir Bharata.
ग्लानिर्भवति भारत
Abhyuthanam Adharmasya.
अधर्मस्य
Very good. Abhyuthanam Adharmasya.
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
Tadatmanam Shrijamyaham.
तदात्मनं सृजाम्यहम्
Tadatmanam Shrijamyaham.
तदात्मनं सृजाम्यहम्
Wonderful, everyone. Now I'll say the whole verse once so you hear it all together, and then we'll say it together a few times. Yada yada hi
धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मनं सृजाम्यहम्
Wonderful. So many of you joined in. Let's say the whole verse again a couple more times, okay?
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मनं सृजाम्यहम्
Another time. Yada
यदा
yada
हि धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति
ग्लानिर्भवति
भारत
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य
अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानमृत्यु
One last time. Yada yada
यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्
How many of you have heard this verse before? This is a really famous verse, so I'm curious. How many of you have heard this? Dwani, okay. Ansh, okay. Dhruv, all right. Yeah, this is a really famous verse. I was just wondering. All right, who would like to try the Sanskrit? Dhruv and Dwani, go ahead.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्
Very nice. Anybody else? Who else? Ramaya, please.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अत्यन्तम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्
Very good, very good. I saw some other hands. Nitya, did you have your hand up? No? Would you like to try? No? All right, let's see who else. Who else would like to try? Satya, are you raising your hand?
No.
No? Do you want to give it a go? You were doing really well when we were repeating.
No.
Okay. Anyone else? Ansh, would you like to go ahead?
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else would like to try the Sanskrit? Okay, let's move on to the word for word here. We can say this all together, okay? Yada, yada, whenever and
यदा
he
whenever and he
certainly
certainly
dharmasya
धर्मस्य
religion
of religion.
discrepancies bhavati become
भवति
manifest bharata
भारत
descendant of bharata
descendant of
abhyuthanam dominant
अभ्युत्थानं
adharmasya of
धर्मस्य
tada at that time atmanam self srijami manifest aham I. Now let's say the translation all together, and then I'll have some of you say it yourself, okay? All together, please. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice,
practice, O
O descendant
descendant
of
of
Bharata,
Bharata,
and
the
predominant
dominant
rise
rise
of
of
your
irreligion.
religion. At that
At the
time,
time
I
I
descend
descend
myself.
myself.
Thank you. Who would like to say the translation? Ashi? Go ahead.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and predominant rise of irreligion, at the time I descend myself.
Wonderful, thank you. Nitya.
whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata and
Predominant.
predominant rise of in religion, at that time I didn't
Descend.
descend myself.
Excellent. Nimai. Nimai, you can go ahead. Maybe we'll come back to you. Letitia?
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Thank you. Ramaya, go ahead.
Whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irrational, that at that time I descend myself.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Let's say the Sanskrit one more time and the translation one more time, and then we'll move on to talk a little bit about this verse, okay? All together, please. Yada
Yamasya Bhavati Bharata Abhitamana Dharmasya Sarvabhausaya.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant
Descended of
of Bharata,
Bharata in a
and a
rise
predominant
of
rise
irreligion.
of
At that
irreligion.
time,
At that time,
I
I
descend
descend
myself.
myself. Okay. So, Krishna comes in his different incarnations, right? Remember we learned about Krishna's incarnations? Can anyone name them for me or name one of them? You can go ahead and say it. Unmute and say it. You can call it out. Call the names out. Does anyone remember any of the incarnations?
Varaha,
Varaha, good. Yeah, who else?
Kurma,
Kurma, yes.
Matsya,
Yeah, yeah.
Narasimha,
Nrsimhadev, yes.
Vamana,
Yes, Vamana. We have a few more left. A few more.
Kalki,
Kalki, yes. We have
Buddha,
Buddha, Parakrishna,
Krishna,
yeah. Rama, Balaram. So we learned about all these different incarnations that Krishna, how they are the ways that Krishna appears in this world. And Krishna appears when the principles of Dharma, which are um, honesty, mercy, austerity, and cleanliness, when they are compromised, when they're not being followed, when people are leaning more towards adharma or irreligion, which comes in these forms: pride, lust, illusion, greed, envy, anger. And these cause people to behave in terrible ways. And it creates an imbalance in the world, right? So at that time, Krishna descends himself to get rid of those people who are afflicted with adharma or irreligion. And he comes and establishes religious principles again so that the world can function peacefully. And the principles of dharma or religion, they're taught by the Vedic scriptures. And the Vedic scriptures come directly from the Supreme Lord, from Krishna. Um, like how last time we heard about Krishna speaking the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god, right? The Vedic scriptures, they all come from the Supreme Lord, from Krishna. And the principles of Dharma, honesty, mercy, austerity, cleanliness, these are all very, very, these values are very helpful in creating a balanced and harmonious atmosphere in the world. And many times when there are negative things going on in the world, it's because people are too afflicted by these adharma, these aspects of adharma: anger, envy, greed, pride, lust, illusion. All of these things, they afflict people in their hearts, and then they begin to behave in ways that are not nice. So whenever in the world people are leaning more towards the side of adharma and causing disturbance, then Krishna comes in all his different incarnations. Every time he comes in a different form to reestablish dharmic principles so that the world can function peacefully. And he doesn't always have to come and do it. Sometimes he does it through his devotees. Like here, Krishna is talking to Arjuna, right? What is Arjuna about to do with his brothers? What are they about to do? Yes, Dhruv.
About to fight the Kauravas.
That's right. They're about to fight the Kauravas. The Kauravas, they were motivated by adharmic principles. They had a lot of envy, greed, anger, pride, lust, illusion. They had a lot of that in their hearts, and they were motivated by that to behave in ways that was not very kind to other people, and it was creating an imbalance in the world. The Pandavas, on the other hand, they were motivated by dharma, and they had these qualities. So, naturally, Krishna's devotees, they have these qualities. So, oftentimes, Krishna can also, his devotees can establish the principles of dharma, or they can help bring balance to society. So why does Krishna have to come, though? So if his devotees can do that in this world, why does Krishna have to come anyway? He resides in the spiritual world, right? We're in the material world, but he resides in his abode in the spiritual world. So why does he have to come here? And the answer is that because through his pastimes, um, he we can develop love for him, right? Because he does all kinds of amazing things in his pastimes, right? In each of these different stories, there's some really incredible thing that he does that um, when we hear about them, us people of the material world, we can develop attraction and appreciation for him because of how amazing he is. So that's also a reason why he comes to this world. He comes to establish the religious principles. Oops. And he also comes to perform all these really cool pastimes so that we can remember him more and we can learn to love him. Okay? So that's the essence of this verse. And it's a it's a really famous verse because it's talking about how Krishna comes in every millennium, in the different times of the when the world is in need, when it's in danger, because of all of these um, um, adharma, um, these aspects of adharma. So Krishna comes to save the world, and he also comes to help us become attracted to him and learn to love him. Okay? Does anyone have anything they want to say? Should we move on to Ramayan now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's go on to our Ramayan story. And today we're going to be talking about the war and the start of the war. So, this is Ravana. Ravana has just heard from his ministers and his spies that Rama's army is very large. It's terribly large, and it's larger than they have ever seen. This is a picture of all the monkeys that were helping Ram. It was like a vast ocean of monkeys, and they were very nervous. And when they came to tell Ravana, he he ended up sending more spies to try and get an idea of what Ram was planning to do. But every time he would send spies, Vibhishan, who remembers who Vibhishan is? Who's Vibhishan? You can call it out if you know.
Ravan's brother, I think.
Yes, Ravan's brother. And what happened to him? Where is he now?
He's working with Ram now.
He's with Ram. Yeah, he came to Lord Ram, right? Because he was trying to make Ravana understand that what he was doing is wrong, but Ravana didn't agree. So he left him. So he's with Ram. And whenever Ravana sends his spies, Vibhishan, he captures them. And only by Lord Ram's grace and kindness, they get released. And then Ram even tells them, you can roam around and you can get a tour of our army. But even so, they were very afraid at the big amount of soldiers that Ram had, monkey soldiers. Um, so when Ravana heard this, he thought, okay, I'm going to call one of my demon friends, and I'm going to ask him to make an illusion head of Ram. So a fake head of Ram to show to Sita to try and persuade her to think that Ram is dead. And he thought maybe when Sita thinks that Ram is dead, she will decide to live with me. So he did that. He asked his friend to make a fake head, illusory head, for Sita, Ram's head, and he brought it to Ashoka garden where Sita was staying. And he showed the head to Sita and he said, "Look, your husband is dead. Now you decide if you want to stay with me." And but then as he was trying to persuade Sita, someone came and told Ravana that your ministers are calling you. They need an urgent meeting with you. So he left. Nearby, there was a lady. Her name was um, Sarama. Her name was Sarama, and she was Vibhishan's wife. So Vibhishan's wife was still there, and she would often come and see Sita. She befriended Sita. So Sita began to cry. She thought that Ravana was serious, that Lord Ram that was his head. But Sarama, Vibhishan's wife, came and she consoled her. She said, "Don't worry, Ram is not dead. This is an illusion that Ravana is trying to fool you with." So Sita was a little comforted, and she asked Sarama to please go and find out what Ravana is planning to do. Is he planning to give her back to Ram, or is he planning to fight Ram? So Sarama went, and um, she went to hear of the meetings that Ravana went to see what he was planning. And she came back to tell Sita the news that Ravana was not planning to return her. He was adamant on fighting, even though so many of his ministers, even his grandfather, so many people in his life were telling him that he should not fight, that this is going to bring him to his death if he fights and if he doesn't give back Sita. Yes, Ramaya, I see your hand up.
I see Hanumanji standing in a tree.
Yes, unfortunately, I wish I had the right pictures for every scene, but Hanuman is not supposed to be there right now. I'm sorry. But everything else is part of the story. Hanuman right now is with Ram, so he's not supposed to be here. But this was the best picture I could find with Sarama. So yeah, so Sarama, she came back to tell Sita that Ravana he's not going to return her, he was going to fight. And he was adamant, even though everyone was telling him that this is a bad idea, you are going to die if you do this. And they also reminded him that his boons that he got from Brahma granted him some boons to make him very powerful. His boons were not they did not protect him from fighting with humans or with monkeys. He didn't ask for protection from them because he assumed that he was already powerful enough. He didn't need protection from humans or monkeys. But it so happens that now Lord Ram is coming in the form of a human with an army of monkeys, and his boon from Brahma did not protect him from that. And it's a whole army of monkeys, more powerful than Ravana's armies. But still, he was adamant and he did not want to return Sita. He was adamant on fighting. And instead of listening to all that good advice, Ravana decided to put his different skillful warriors at the different gates of his palace, his Lanka palace. So he had who did he? He had Prahasta was one of his warriors. He was at the eastern gate right here. Then he had Mahaparshva and Mahodara on the southern gate here. Then he had Indrajit, one of his sons, on the western gate. And on the northern gate, he had Shuka, Sarana, and himself. These are some of his very powerful warriors. And he also was going to be at the northern gate to guard the city. And in the middle of the city, he kept Virupaksha, another one of his demons. So he was starting to prepare for war. He was not going to return Sita. He wanted to fight Ram. Meanwhile, Vibhishan, he takes the form of a bird. Remember, Vibhishan is a Rakshasa. He's a devotee in his heart, but he was born a Rakshasa, a demon. So they could shapeshift. They could turn into different bodies. So he took the form of a bird, and he went on top of Lanka to see if he could find any clues or spy on Ravana. And he figured out Ravana's military formation and how he would be guarding his city. So he came back and he told Ram what he found. And Lord Ram immediately began to think of how to strategize his own army of monkeys to start the war with Ravana. So Ram decided that he would put Nila, one of his powerful monkey soldiers, at the east gate. Um, then he would send Angada to the south gate. He would send Hanuman to the west, and then he would go himself to the north with Lakshman. And in the center, he would keep Sugriva, Jambavan, and Vibhishan. So that's how he was strategizing to fight Ravana's soldiers. So for the night, they climbed up, Rama and his army, they climbed up the Suvela mountain. And from there, they could have a really nice view of Lanka. And Lanka was actually a very beautiful city. As Ram was looking at the city, he was appreciating how beautiful it was. And the next morning, they saw Ravana sitting on one balcony on in the palace. And when Sugriva saw Ravana there, he jumped all the way up to that balcony and he basically got into a fight with Ravana. He said, "I am a servant of Lord Ram, and today I will kill you." And they started to wrestle. And they wrestled and they wrestled and they wrestled, and they were they were a match for each other. Neither of them were winning. But then Sugriva was a bit stronger actually, and he was really, really almost defeating Ravana. But then Ravana decided that, okay, I have to implore my mystic powers to defeat Sugriva. When Sugriva figured that out, he immediately left. He thought it's not worth it. He left. And he came back to Lord Ram. Lord Ram was surprised and he hugged him, but he also said, "Why did you do that? If you had died there, if Ravana had killed you, I could not have lived. After I would have defeated Ravana and installed Vibhishan on the throne, I would have, I would have died too. I couldn't have seen you die like that under my protection." But then he said, at the same time, you also gave a lot of encouragement to the whole army by going and doing that. So he was also pleased at the same time. And eventually, Rama and his whole army, they came towards the city. Now, before they were going to attack, Ram sent Angada. Who remembers who Angada is? Ramaya, let's see if anyone else. Does anyone else remember who Angada is? Angad? Who's Angad? Okay, tell us, Ramaya.
I think it's Hanumanji's dad.
Not quite. He is Sugriva. No, sorry, he is Vali's son, Sugriva's nephew. Remember Vali and Sugriva? They had a fight. Remember that? Yeah. So this is Vali's son, Sugriva's nephew. So Ram was about to attack, but before he would attack, he thought he would send Angad again with a message to Ravana, the last final warning. So Rama told Angad to go and give a message. And the message was that telling Ravana that if he didn't return Sita at this moment, and if he didn't surrender or submit to Ram, then Ram would, the war would start and Ram would finish him off. So Angad came and he told that message to Ravana. He said, Ravana, this is a message from Lord Ram. He says, submit to me, return Sita, otherwise you will be finished. Look at Lanka one more time because it's going to be your last chance. So Ravana, he was angry. He didn't want to hear that. And he did not agree. And he immediately had his different ministers and Rakshasa demons try and tie up Angada. But Angad was very strong, and he jumped up while they were all trying to tie him up, and they all flew up in the air, and then they fell down. And Angad, at that time, he kicked the roof of Ravana's palace, and he damaged it a little bit, and then he left. And at that time, Ravana, he started to see how strong and powerful these monkeys actually were, and he started to be a little worried. And But still, he did not give up his idea. He continued with the war. He didn't submit to Lord Ram, even though he had all of these chances to do that. Ram was giving him so many chances. So finally, the war began, and all the different warriors attacked from the different gates, the different angles, and the monkeys had sticks and stones and trees and branches, and the demons had some other kinds of weapons, and they were all fighting, and it was a it was a huge, huge scene, a huge war.
Hey,
And finally, some of Ravana's demons were defeated. Some of them were defeated. But what happens is, in the evening, the Rakshasas grow stronger. So once the night started to fall, the Rakshasas, they gained some more strength and they began to attack the monkeys during the night. And Indrajit, one of Ravana's sons, he began to play some tricks. He was a trickster, so he began to disappear and appear in the sky, and he fought Ram and Lakshman in that way, in a very tricky way. He was disappearing, he was appearing, and then he was showering arrows on them. He bound them up with this one arrow, which would give snakes that would bind both Ram and Lakshman. So they were bound by those snake ropes, snake arrows, and then Indrajit ended up showering so many arrows on them that they were covered in arrows. And then he thought that he defeated them, actually. And you can see here, Ram and Lakshman right here, you see that they're bound by snakes. You see that? So that was part of Indrajit's tricks and how he fought that war. And when he saw that he had showered all the arrows on Ram and Lakshman and they were laying down on the ground, he thought, "Oh, I defeated them." And he immediately went to tell his father Ravana. Went to tell him that he defeated Ram and Lakshman and that it was a matter of time before they would die. So Ravana was very pleased, and he called for one of his um, attendants in Ashoka Garden to tell Sita. Meanwhile, the monkeys, they were guarding Ram and Lakshman, and they were going to tend to them and make sure that no one else attacked them. You can see the monkeys over here. They started guarding Ram and Lakshman while they recovered on the battlefield. And Ravana decided to tell someone to bring Sita on a chariot and bring her on top, have her fly on the chariot to go and see Ram on the battlefield, all defeated. So that's what they did. One of the demonesses, they took Sita up on this flying chariot and to show Ram on the battlefield that he was defeated. So when Sita saw this, she was very, very, very upset and fearful, and she was saying that um, astrologers earlier, they told her that she would never be a widow, that she would be the queen of an illustrious king, and she started to grieve and say that now that will never happen. And she was becoming very sad because she saw Ram in a very distressed condition right here. Um, but the demoness in that was flying with her still was consoling her and saying, "Actually, don't worry, they're not dead. You see that everyone is guarding them? If they were dead, they wouldn't be guarding them. So they have not died. They're just wounded and they'll get better. So Sita felt a little better after hearing that, but she she was still very sad to think that Ram is in that condition. And and that's where we'll leave off for today. And we'll continue hearing about the war next week. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how Ram and Lakshman make their comeback and what else happens. So the war has just started now. It's not yet over. All right. Friends, that's all I have for today. Does anyone want to share anything that they liked from the story or from the shloka? Yes, Ramaya?
I like the story. What about you?
What was an interesting part of the story for you?
Like the fight.
The fight?
Yeah.
What specifically?
Um, so when like one of Robin's son was like playing tricks, I didn't know
Okay.
to a trickster.
Yeah, he is a trickster. Yeah, he knew some different magic tricks. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Who else would like to share something that Nitya? Yes.
I like the story.
Okay, thank you. What part of the story did you like?
Um, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Are you interested to hear what happens next in the war?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
have the
So
book.
you have the book. Okay. You're ahead.
I haven't read it though.
Oh, okay.
I haven't gone all the way up there.
Are you reading as we go?
No, I'm
Are
still
you reading?
behind.
Oh, you're behind. Okay. Okay. Okay, Nitya, thank you. I'm also excited to see what's going to happen next. Who else would like to share something that they liked from the story that was new, different, or from the verse earlier? Dwani? I see your hand raised.
I like the story.
You like the story? Which part of the story?
I like the part when Sita was flying over Ram.
Well, okay, when she went to see Ram on the flying chariot. Yeah. It must have been quite a very difficult time for her, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dwani. Let's see. Satya, do you have something you want to share with us? No? Was there anything in the story that stood out to you? No? Okay.
Oh.
How about Dhruv?
I like the story when you said where the monkeys were positioned.
Oh yeah, yeah. They Ram was very strategic in how he placed his warriors, right? To defeat Ravana's warriors. And they actually they defeated most of those warriors in the different entrances of Lanka. Thank you, Dhruv. Ashi, how about you? Would you like to share something? Or let's see, who else is here? Ansh, do you have one thing you'd like to share?
I just like the story.
You like the story? Is there a particular part of the story you like? No? Just the whole thing? Are you excited to see what happens next? Yeah. All right. Atisha, do you have anything you want to share with us? Any interesting thing from the story that you found or from the shloka earlier?
So he tried to trick her with the fake head of
Big head.
Ram.
Yeah. That was pretty deceitful of him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Nitya.
The part after when Ravana he showed that to Sita, but then Vibhishana's wife she told Sita to not worry, that it was just a fake head,
Yeah.
and Ravana was trying to trick her.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad she was there. She was actually hiding in the picture, it doesn't show that, but she was hiding behind a bush and she was watching what Ravana was doing. And when he left, then she came and started to console Sita. So yeah, it was nice that she was there. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Who else? Ruhanika and Aradia? Do you have anything particular you liked in the story or the verse? Bhagavad Gita verse?
I like the part when Sita was on the flying chariot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Most of you have shared. Let's go ahead and say our final prayers. Ready? All together. Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Does anyone